So our next change to the Bob's widget fulfillment workflow is going to be a significant change, and we're going to actually change the version of the workflow. Conductor has versioning built in. Each version has to have an integer value, so in this case we're going to be at version 2. What we're changing is we're actually going to change the input, because if you've noticed, we can only buy one widget at a time, right? Our order didn't have a way to change the quantity. So we're actually going to add a new term to the input, the number of widgets. And in this case, you can see here it would be 5. And we're going to change the way the workflow works to be able to handle that. Versioning is super powerful because sometimes you have long-running workflows. We had a meetup a few weeks ago where the workflows can be 6 months long. And you don't want to change the version of the workflow. That might break old workflows. If you have a workflow running on version 1, that will continue on version 1, and all new workflows will be on version 2. Or if you had a client that was running something and was ready to upgrade, but some of your other ones were not, the other ones can stay on version 1, and your new clients can go on version 2 to get those added features. So versioning is a very powerful feature inside Netflix Conductor. In this case, we're updating the version to 2 because we're going to add a new number of widgets. So our workflow is going to change a bit. And there's 2 things that we're going to change. One is we're going to need to call this shipping as many times as there are widgets called. So it's going to create a new shipping label for each widget. If we order 10, it's going to do 10. If we order 5, it's going to do 5. The other thing we need to do is we need to change this reorder widget number. It was hard-coded as a 1, so we're going to just change it to whatever the input is. And so I've done that. Here's version 2. What we've added is it's called a do-while loop. And the do-while loop works just as it does in a lot of programming languages. You set up some parameters, and we say our input parameter is in our shipping loop is the number of widgets. And do-while is the type. And as long as the iteration value is below the number of orders, do the loop. And when you've hit the number of orders, you can pop out of the loop. And inside the loop is just the widget shipping. And then we're going to come down here to reorder widgets. And instead of hard coding it as 1, we're just going to take the input from the workflow input. And now when we run this workflow, it's going to ship out 5 widgets and reorder 5 widgets. Everything else in this workflow is exactly the same. If the reorder fails, we're going to terminate the task as a failure. If the reorder works, it's going to be a success. So let's run it and see what happens. So you can see I've changed the version to 2. I've added the number of widgets parameter. We'll run the workflow. And as I refresh the page, you can see it's already done 4. It's done 5. So now it's done 5, it's completed that. And now it's coming down to the reorder widgets part. Okay, so I refreshed it, and now the reorder widget has completed. And it was a successful reorder because we took the default task, the default switch to terminate success. So now we've updated our workflow to handle multiple widgets being ordered and reordering that same number of multiple widgets. Our output also shows that. We've changed the output. Actually show this. Inside this do-while loop, the output of the do-while loop has the output of all the attempts that were run inside. So we have a JSON array of all of the tracking numbers for each time this was run. And so if we look at the output, we can actually see, here's order detail 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, here's 5, right? And they all have different tracking numbers. We can also see that the reorder was successful, and we've reordered 5 widgets, not just 1. So now we've introduced versioning, and we've also introduced the do-while loop to allow us to iterate through a set of tasks multiple times.